All right, so I have no. I actually mistaken this dude for somebody else. I think his like thumbnails look similar to somebody else's, and I actually was like, I'm not watching this guy's video. But apparently, this is not who I thought it was. I'm not familiar with you, Ray. I'm sorry, but I'm about to get familiar with you. This is titled "Star Citizen: My Saltiest Video Ever" from Ray's Guide. So. Here we go.
Hello, this is Danny Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. And I just want to warn you ahead of
I've
time,
never watched
I'm going to get pretty salty in this video. It's definitely going to be the saltiest video I've ever made. And it just might be in the running for the saltiest video ever made by anybody about Star Citizen.
Okay.
And the reason is simply I've been made to look like a complete ass by CIG. Less than a week ago, I'm going to bat for CIG, saying that what the press gets wrong about Star Citizen was that CIG, with a combination of a quarterly release promises and openness about would or would not be in those patches, had created a new relationship with its users by having them focused on the content of near-term patches rather than the much more future concerns about when beta or release might someday happen. Well, all that just got torn up by CIG because, well, we're apparently not allowed to have nice things. But before I get more into that, and I have a lot more to get into that, let me touch on...
Dude, his microphone is crazy. I can hear it goes between both ears. Does he have two mics?
Something perhaps a little more hidden in the roadmap update.
Like if he looks a different way.
It is that rather than just be focused on Squadron 42, the core gameplay pillar is now described as being exclusively focused on Squadron 42. Adding the word exclusively is not a trivial matter. It means that there is now no core gameplay effort whatsoever on the persistent universe. But no, you say, that's all going to get migrated to the PU2. Really? How does that mesh with any behavior whatsoever of the Squadron 42 team? Why haven't we seen the interior of the Idris? Because the Squadron 42 team doesn't want to spoil the experience of seeing inside the Idris for the first time in Squadron 42. So we're supposed to think that the same set of management, with their hands on a fun gameplay improvement, isn't going to say, ooh, we don't want to spoil the experience of players having this gameplay first in Squadron 42. Note that the first 5 cards dropped, all them gameplay related, have the following description. As the progress of migrating these features into the PU is finalized, we're temporarily removing the following cards while their PU implementation is evaluated. Note, just the PU implementation is evaluated. The Squadron 42 implementation, apparently full speed ahead, if not actually already completed. And what about the process of migrating these features is so special? Since Squadron 42 and the PU share the same code base,
True.
Migration should present no difficulties at all. What about the process needs to be finalized so much that the cards have to be pulled?
Okay. I'm not a game developer that works at the company, but it's my understanding from the Richard Tyrer, I am moving away from Star Citizen and moving on to Squadron 42. This is my understanding of things, and why it would need to be evaluated is it's not evaluated. It would be, we are putting it in Star Citizen, in Squadron 42. We are fleshing it out in a way that this is how we want it to work. And then the implementation into Star Citizen would be given to teams like the teams that make Jumptown V2, the basically USPU team and the EUPU gameplay teams, or the like. And they would implement it into the game with more tangible things to do in the game. That was my understanding of that was their plan. I don't believe them because I don't believe anything they say, but I think that is what they mean by those things. So things like hacking are going to be implemented, really fleshed out into the Squadron 42 experience, however they want that to be. And then they said that it would be brought over to be given to teams with direction on how to use it in things like missions and stuff like that. This is all words being blurted from their mouths and no actual action, but that is all we have to go on at the moment. Until, so like, same as the Aaron Roberts, this is the only things that we can see on the roadmap, or we're only putting things on the roadmap that we know we can do. We don't know that to be a lie until it actually comes out to be a lie and not true. Same with staggered development. We don't know it to not be a thing until it was not a thing. So I don't have any trust or any faith in any of the words that they say, in the same way that I'm not sure Ray should be reading into this as much as maybe he is, right? And I think that's like the general point I'm trying to get to through all of this already, is their words mean nothing. Their words have no value. Only their actions do, and that's it. I don't know how to keep them, like, you can't keep them accountable for their words because there is no accountability there. So you can only judge them on their actions. But again, there's no accountability. So like all we could do is you are like, they are driving the ship and we have no hands on the wheel at all. So
maybe just the timing after Squadron 42 is released, because of their almost obsessive attitude about spoiling your first experience being theirs. So before this, I could just happily stay focused on the upcoming quarterly releases in the PU and let whenever Squadron 42 comes out be a side issue. But not anymore. With the new exclusive dedication and the wording of the roadmap update, it is now clear that Squadron 42 is a blocker on any substantial gameplay additions to the persistent universe. Yes. So this is no longer a side issue, but the central...
It's a blocker to the entire PU period. It is a blocker to the MMO. It is literally taking just how many development hours are spent on Squadron 42 versus how many development hours are spent on Star Citizen, and how much money is spent because of Star Citizen marketing versus how much money is spent for Squadron 42 marketing. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Central question of this PU: when will Squadron 42 be finished? So, CIG,
nobody wants to play
not
it.
Answering that essential question, let's return to the elimination of all but the most recent quarterly update from the increasingly misleadingly named roadmap. Apparently, it is supposed to be our fault that it was a mistake to ever give us that, because why? Because apparently we cared about it. We got excited when things were added, even if labeled tentative, and we got disappointed when they got removed. How silly of us. Because, unfortunately, most of us work in professions where when customer-facing milestones are missed, even tentative ones, we don't have the luxury of just saying, oh, things are fluid. And it was tentative, you know. Most of us, when we blow a customer-facing milestone, are used to a very awkward conversation that starts with the words, step into my office and close the door behind you. We don't have the luxury of saying, hey, it's the customer's fault for taking seriously the milestones that we laid out for them. And don't try to spin some story about the so-called progress tracker, because without the release view, it is pointless. It just says that for some range of dates, some group of people worked on something.
Bruh, it was pointless even with the release view. It's all pointless. It's all part of this. We're showing you a look into game development meme instead of actually developing a game.
There's nothing about what was actually expected to be produced at the end, and whether whatever was produced at the end was adequate and useful. You know, actually representing progress. CIG has made it officially clear that the end of a bar on the chart should not be regarded as the item described being finished, only that work on it has stopped and the people moved elsewhere. There are so many dozens of things that were on the tracker for some period of time, the time completed, and we have seen nothing even remotely about them. These bars represent actual progress when they are coalesced into something that we actually see being part of a release that will actually be expected to be in the game. Without that, there is no actual progress represented on the so-called progress tracker. And that is what we have now. Expenditure of time and task with no connection to any actual expected results.
Yes.
Utterly pointless to pay attention to.
Yes.
But you've given away that you don't have those kind of step into my office and close the door conversations when you blow milestones. But you are bothered by salty posts. So, challenge accepted. Step into my office and close the door behind you.
He's going into Constantine Hurston's office. This is so good, dude. Oh my God.
You don't have to sit because I'll be brief. There are two types of people in the world, those that produce results and those that produce excuses. I may have to listen to your excuses. I may have to evaluate your excuses. I might even rarely have to regard one of your excuses as valid. But you know what I don't have to do? I don't have to give a shit about your excuses. And I don't. And the world doesn't give a shit about them either. We care about results. And you don't want your trademark to be, oh, them. You can always count on them to produce great excuses. They're the best at excuses. Really creative, top quality excuses, because all anybody cares about is results. When I hit the subscriber and membership goal, I'm not going to be making any excuses about how hard and expensive your fluid is going to be to do a ship giveaway. I give away their choice of the Liberator Odyssey, both of them if it is a member, because commitments are important and results are what matter. See? Oh, and before you go, nobody's fooled. Squadron 42 must have been in an utter disaster state and may well still be, because nobody makes that kind of a huge resource reassignment unless there's a dumpster fire to be extinguished.
During literally your most important part of the video.
That's all. Lies.
Bro, I'd like 100 members on my YouTube channel too to give away a single ship. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of things. But that was pretty based at the end. Nobody gives a shit about your excuses. Just deliver results. That's it. People only care about results. Some people really do care about the progress and all that stuff. And like the look into game development. But in general, I think the overall community is very interested in just the progress and the results and not your little work schedule list that is the progress tracker. It's just that whole thing was very, very good video. Thank you, Ray. I'm glad I've watched your. That was my first ever video, and I think it was pretty good. And he does sound like Morgan Freeman. I saw a few of you guys in there talking about that.